This movie was about
Lights, camera, action is going down. For my ATL movies, when we run this town with your host, T-Wil, yeah, keeping it real. From the A to the screen, you can feel the thrill. Rolling with the classics, we're setting the pace. Highlighting the magic of our soulful space. Got the vibe, got the crew, making it tight. When the screen lights up, everything feels right. Grab your popcorn, let's make it loud. T-Wil, T-Wil. It's movie time, ATL style. Stand proud. From the silver screen to the hearts we steal. T-Wil, T-Wil. Every frame we capture is a real deal. Yeah. Talking premieres where the stars align. ATL views, yeah, they really shine. Behind the lens, capture.
welcome, MCU Marvel fans. Hello, everyone. It's your host T-Wil and my guy Jordan Burton. Jordan, how you doing, man?
I'm doing great. How you doing?
I'm doing well. Can't complain. Wouldn't matter if I did, Jordan. Today we are talking about Jessica Jones season 2. As we are just moving up the MCU world, and we're getting there slowly but surely. I can't believe we're on Jessica Jones season 2 already. In a couple of months, we'll be at Doomsday, and I don't know what I'm going to do with myself, but super excited about it. Anyway, we're talking about season 2 of Jessica Jones, released on Netflix in 2018, second season, created by Melissa Rosenberg, I believe. The focus shifts from Kilgrave, who is the psychotic mind controller dude, okay, to Jessica's origin story and what happened and why she carries around so much guilt and why she seems to be broken. And they really dive into that in the second season. If season 1 was about the external control of Kilgrave, then season 2 is about the internal damage and inherited trauma. And I would agree with that. Jordan, you are a Jessica Jones fan. Give me just your real quick thoughts on season 2 and where we are.
Well, I wouldn't say I'm a Jessica Jones fan, even though we got into this before.
Oh my
before we
goodness.
start recording.
He's a
I like Jessica Jones. I like Kristen Ritter's portrayal of this character a lot. It's to the point. It's so good. Like even when you go into, I won't spoil Daredevil Born Again, but it's in all the trailers that she is in it, so that's not spoiling anything. But like even when she shows up in that, I'm like, you just bring she brings something to the entire MCU that no other character necessarily has, like a flawed superhero that just doesn't care about being a superhero in a way that's like, look at what Deadpool didn't want to be a superhero. He wanted to be an anti-hero, and inherently he did just become a superhero, like whether he liked it or not. And it's like, but he didn't fall back on it. He accepted it. He's like, yeah, I guess I am a superhero. Even with everything Jessica Jones did and does, she's still like, no, I'm not a hero. I'm not that. She won't even say the word. Even in the Defenders, she's like, don't say the H word. And what Kristen Ritter brings to this character is just, she does a great job with this character, and it's really well written. The issue I have, like I have with the whole series of Jessica Jones, is all of the side characters. I hate them all. I hate every single one of them.
Hate is a strong word, Jordan. Tell us why. Why do you hate them?
Okay, I strongly dislike. Oh, I hate. Hogarth.
Jerry, the lawyer. Yes, yeah.
I hate Jerry Hogarth. Like, I strongly dislike all the other characters.
Give us background on why you hate Jerry so much.
Jerry just, she's constantly wanting to just do for herself, and she doesn't like, she doesn't realize she's at fault for a lot of the situations she put herself in, like when she cheats on her wife with her secretary, and then her wife dies at the hands of
Kilgrave.
Kilgrave. Like she just, and then she goes and has ALS and is like trying to go through all.
She gets ALS in this, huh? Wow.
Yes, she does. Season 2, we find out that she gets diagnosed with ALS. If you don't know what ALS is, it's the same thing that Steve Gleason, former, yes, Lou Gehrig's disease. Steve Gleason, the former Saints player, he has ALS. Notably, there's a lot of donations, a lot of charities that Steve Gleason works with, the Steve Gleason Foundation, actually. But like, it's to the point that like the way she's written and the way the character goes about her life is like, she has a terminal disease, and I just don't care what happens to her. That's an awful written character. If I don't care, and I'm not the only one. I thought I was the only one. But then after I got done in the shows, I wanted to look at what everybody else's opinions were. And the majority of the internet all the same thing. That it's like, well, I don't care about Jerry Hogarth. And they try to like force her as a big character in this, but she really doesn't have anything to offer to this show. Outside of just sometimes she's helpful to Jessica, but at times she's a speed bump. And she just gets in her way. And it's not like a speed bump that like really throws Jessica off. It's just like, oh, that was kind of annoying. Anyways, let's keep going back on track. So yeah, I just don't care about Jerry whatsoever in season 2 or 3. And Trish, this is where the downfall of Trish for me really starts, is season 2. I said this in the Jessica season 1 review.
You did.
I was like, I like Trish. I feel like she can be redeemable after season 1. Then season 2 happens, and I'm like, why are you doing the things? Like, I understand you bring up like your childhood trauma and that you were put into being a celebrity at a young age, but you keep bringing that up. Like, move on with your life. You're the one that's still a radio host. You're the one who's still putting yourself out there for the world. And at times she's like, oh, I wish people would just stop talking about my personal life, and then proceeds to go on to a radio show. It's like some celebrities just drop out of the spotlight whatsoever. Like, some celebrities you're like, oh, what happened to this person? Oh, they just moved to like, I don't know, South Africa, and they have like 3 kids and a loving wife. Like, I don't like, go do something else. But no, she does this like, oh, this victim. She tries to be a victim, like, oh, poor me. Like, yeah. And some of it, like, yeah, her mom shouldn't have put her into being a child star.
Shouldn't have pimped her out.
Yes, and that because that's what happens in Hollywood. What Trish is going through is exactly what happens in Hollywood.
Right.
The difference is that most of the time, and a lot of these celebrities end up going through hardcore drugs,
especially child stars.
Yes. I will name one example as a main one that will point at why I don't like Trish, is like Macaulay Culkin. Macaulay Culkin, well known, like, I mean, we're talking, he was hanging out with Michael Jackson and Michael Jordan in the 80s and 90s. You're talking about 2 of the biggest celebrities on the planet. And Macaulay Culkin, he's not even a teenager, and he's hanging out with them. Like, that is the most, like, that's not even comparable to anything right now. There's no 2 celebrities on this earth that would be comparable to that, and then having like a child celebrity just hanging out with them. There's just not comparable. But Macaulay Culkin got, I would say, pimped out by his dad, and led to other movie deals. He couldn't continue doing the Home Alone franchise after Home Alone 2. even though he was supposed to. And he ended up dropping out of Hollywood for a while and just disappearing. And he did drugs, and now he's gotten clean. He's got an amazing wife and kids. And he's awesome now, and he's back to being he's a nice fresh face that's not being controlled by someone. And with Trish, it's like, okay, she got pimped out by her mom, and she went into being a celebrity. She went to drugs, basically the same path. But then after the drugs, then she went away from the drugs and just continued being a celebrity. She never left. She never left being a celebrity. She stayed in the spotlight, which led to that. And then during this season, she gets back onto that, like, I don't remember what it was called. That, like, it looks like an inhaler that gives her like super strength or something like that. And like, she gets addicted to that. She's basically on drugs again. And it's like, why? Like, you are not making me sympathize with you at all. And then she gets so stuck up in herself and thinks about her the whole time that she ends up going and killing Jessica Jones's mother. And I'm like, I'm so frustrated at that outcome, because I'm like, I feel like we could have done this better. I don't like Trish. I don't like Jessica's mom either. I mean, I just think.
Tell us why you don't like Jessica's mom.
Oh my God. This will be the last character I read a lot about. Jessica's mom she wasn't there for her. I understand she had experiments done on her and she got into the accident, but like, at no point, like, even when she got better, she was very manipulative of Jessica, even when Jessica didn't even know it. And that's very sad. Like, at least Trish was manipulative to her in front of her face. Like, like, at least Jerry Hogarth was manipulative to Jessica in front of her face. But Jessica's mom was very manipulative of her without her even knowing that she was alive. And that's sad. That's just sad. And
so when you say that, you're talking about the fact that she killed Jessica's boyfriend, right?
There's that. There's so many times where she could have, like, gone up to her and been like, let me explain everything. And like, but she was a child, basically. Like, her mom was acting like Jessica's like younger than Jessica. And she just, and yeah, you could bring up the excuse that, like, okay, but she was like, her powers were making her, like, angry. She basically was the Hulk, but she was basically the Hulk.
She had no impulse control, and
yeah,
when she does freak out, she can't control it.
Yeah, when she gets angry, you don't like when she's angry. That's basically exactly. Yeah, she's basically She-Hulk.
Right, and She-Hulk, but She-Hulk who can't control.
Yes,
She-Hulk can control her impulses.
Yes,
Jessica's mom can't. Right, so. Yeah. So, well, look, a lot going on. At the beginning of this, Jessica is investigating IGH, which is the organization that essentially gave her powers. It's revealed that after the accident, actually Jessica and her mom went to the same place, and they were both, basically they were both treated, and Jessica responded better. I don't think Jessica had the damage that her mom did, because her mom was in the front seat, and the damage to her mom was extensive. I think she had burns.
Hey, can we pause this? Can we pause this real quick?
Yeah.
Hang on.
And we are back. So, Jordan, I know that you are not the biggest fan of Trish or any of the outside characters, really additional characters. But let's talk about the arc of Jessica's character arc in this
Mm-hmm.
iteration. We see Jessica's origin, but I know for myself, I guess I developed empathy for her in seeing, what she went through, the fact that she thought that her mom was dead initially when the accident happened, the fact that she thought it was her fault. And through a conversation with her mom, she finds out, no, your dad was just a terrible driver. You know what I mean? And it kind of speaks to the fact that when we lose loved ones, we do blame ourselves. And sometimes we even invent scenarios that maybe didn't, or I shouldn't say event, but maybe we exaggerate scenarios that maybe it didn't happen the way we remember it, right? Or at least that's the way it came across to me when Jessica's mom is having the conversation with her. But she meets this, young guy in college. Trish is at that point addicted to drugs and partying and trying to be a singer, although I didn't think she was that great of a singer. I didn't think she was that great of a performer. And it looks like she had a lot of usurpers around her, a lot of hanger-oners, a lot of people that are just there for clout or money or resources or both or all. And nobody really to tell her no, with the exception of Jessica. And she and Jessica kind of have a falling out because she's like, you don't need to be doing this. You don't need to be doing these drugs. And they have a falling out. And during this time where she and Jessica are estranged, Jessica meets her boyfriend, who is also an opportunist, an opportunist. I'm sorry, opportunist. I made up a word, an opportunist. But Jessica doesn't see this, and Jessica really falls in love with him. And his goal is to open up his own club. And I believe the name of the club is going to be Alias. So now we know why she named her business Alias Investigations. But what that said to me without saying is that this guy was clearly her first love and very important to her. And to be honest, I don't think she got over it. I think she's still broken from that because of the way it happened. And so she falls in love with them. I think he liked the jacket that she ended up wearing or whatever. And I think the shoes. But anyway, long story short, this guy is into some folks for some money. Jessica defends him, kicks the crap out of these guys. And they come back to him and they say, hey, no, we no longer want money from you. But we want to know if we can get your girlfriend to go and beat up people and, collect money for us. We want you to get her to work for us. And he's like, well, how much are you talking about? And they're like, so-and-so. And so Jessica's mom, who is there at the time, unbeknownst to Jessica, overhears this and decides, no, you're not going to lose my daughter. And you and I kind of differ on how we view this. Basically what she does is she walks up to Jessica's boyfriend and crushes his head. That's what she does. She literally crushes his head and he dies. And Jessica comes out and she is just devastated because her family's gone. And I think during their dating period, she calls him her family. And once again, this happens. And it's going to have devastating consequences because after that, we just noticed that Jessica is numb, right? Now, you and I talked about it, and I said I understood why the mom did it. Now, it wasn't overreaction, but but she was protecting Jessica in my mind's eye. You kind of look at it a little differently. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about that scene. So give me your thought process on what went down at this scene, because I think we see it a little differently.
So let's look at it from both viewpoints, of the boyfriend's viewpoint or three viewpoints: Jessica's, the boyfriend's, and the mom's. Okay, let's look at it from the boyfriend's perspective too. No, he should not be going and I feel like we've been using the word pimping out a lot, but basically using Jessica to fund his friends and stuff like that. And no, that he shouldn't be doing that. that's awful. You're a bad person. You shouldn't be doing that. You're taking advantage of Jessica. The mom. Let's look at it from the mom's perspective. Okay, you see that this guy who's dating your daughter, who you're basically estranged with because you haven't talked to her in so long, and you because you could go up to her and you could try to talk with her, but you're not, and so you're trying to help Jessica, which in turn ended up hurting her. This ended up hurting her so bad that it led to her eventually being with Kilgrave. So, like, and not only, like, it's one thing if she walked up to her and said and like threatened him. She goes and kills the dude, and it, like, I'm sure that's why part of why Jessica drinks, because she has that vision in his mind. Well, look, it doesn't matter what he was doing. He could have been cheating on Jessica. That image is still going to be in Jessica's mind forever, regardless of what he was doing. And so while the boyfriend was in the wrong, the mom 130%, there are so many better ways you could have gone about doing this. And from Jessica's standpoint, she doesn't know what just happened. She thought that the person she loved just died and doesn't know how he died. And then we find out years later that your mom killed him. And yeah, he was trying to, like, pimp you out, use you for money,
exploit you.
Yes. So it's like, okay, a lot to unpack there. Like, the trauma that from that one specific time just grew exponentially over time because of that. It led to so many problems for Jessica emotionally, and all because the mom just, there are so many better ways you could have gone about doing that.
Yeah, but her mom has no impulse control.
And that is where,
you know what I mean? It's not like her mom is a rational person that can control these urges. You know what I mean? She has to be medicated, sometimes forcefully, and knocked out because she turns into this rage monster. So I look at it like it was an act of love, because what she's saying, because I'm gonna give you a parent's point of view. If you will manipulate Jessica, knowing what you know about her, it's not going to get any better. It's going to get worse. It's going to get worse. You know, Jessica has told you that you are her only family. And with that in mind, if you can do that at that point, when Jessica has defended you, you're only going to get worse, right? Her mom looks at this and decide. And here's the other thing about her mom. Her mom is very keen on reading people, Jordan. Even because she calls out Trish immediately. Oh, you're jealous. Remember that? Remember when she meets Trish and she's like, you're jealous of Jessica. She called, this is within what, 5 minutes of meeting her? She calls her out. So her mom reads people, and her mom is looking at him and she's saying he's not going to get any better. This is the best. This is him in love with my daughter. This is the best version of him. This isn't him. I'm sick of her. She's getting on my nerves. We no longer are intimate. Like, this is the best version. And if you're willing to do that at this point, it's not going to get any better. Now, granted, no, she didn't have to kill him. I will give you that. But I think a part of her killing him was that, A, it's not going to get any better. Let's call that 30%. And then the 70% was she's a homicidal maniac who can't control herself, Jordan. And she was trying to, and I believe, to take that a step further, I believe that's why she doesn't approach Jessica, because the one thing we find, she's stronger than Jessica. She is not strong, strong. She is, as they say in the streets, strong, strong. She is strong. Okay, she is all day strong. She kicks Jessica's ass in this. And Jessica is strong. You and I were talking before the show, and Jessica is stronger than Captain America, which I didn't know. Okay. So good on you for knowing that, Mr. Marvel. I read comics every day.
I just kind of looked at it from. Do you remember when in the Defenders when she literally like pulls the car off the thing to help Trish because her car's getting towed? Like I couldn't. Steve would have to use two hands to do that. I think he could do it, but I think he would struggle a little bit more doing it.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
I mean, I don't know. He did pull a helicopter. Like I wouldn't. All right.
With another homicidal maniac trying to fly away from him, so he did.
It's
sorry, Bucky. Go ahead.
I think he struggled with it.
He did. No, he did struggle with it. He did. He did struggle with it.
Like that was using his full strength, I think.
Yeah.
So, okay, maybe. Also, do we think that how hard do we think Jessica could punch Thanos? Because like Steve can't punch Thanos. Steve never got a punch on Thanos until he had the hammer. Like he really couldn't punch. Like I think Jessica could really like punch Thanos and like knock him backward, but I don't think Steve could do that. That's the way I've always interpreted like the strength.
I don't think she'd knock Thanos backward. But it may like.
I don't think she could knock him out.
Marvel did that. I think if Captain Marvel punched Thanos, then it'd knock him back. It'd probably knock him back 20 feet. But Jessica Jones, although very strong, is still earthbound.
Yeah, I think he could stumble like a foot or two.
Okay,
like,
I'll give you that.
It's sort of like when you do have someone who's smaller than you who pushes you, and it's just like, okay, their lower center of gravity kind of like just because they're lower, they get the angle on you. So it's like okay, I can throw this person, but like so you go back like a step maybe. Like you're not going to just like not move at all. Yeah. It's like, okay, like you're not that strong, but yeah, that's kind of the way I interpreted it. Anyways, back on track.
That's fair. So Jessica's investigating IGH. She meets her mom and discovers that her mom is stronger than her, and finds out that this lady is actually her mom. And it's interesting because her mom tells a story of when she killed her boyfriend and everything that happened. And at this point, I really feel bad for Jessica because it does two things. Number one, it opens up a wound, right? And it hurts her all over again because her mom is the one that in her mind took away the love of her life. Right? Because, I don't care what anybody says. To this point, she's not yet married to Luke. To this point, this man is the love of her life. As bad as he was for her, right? She named her business after him. She still wears the jacket every day. Jessica doesn't really, she's not much for a wardrobe change. Mm-hmm. Okay. So she wears the jacket every day. She named the bitch. She clearly still harbors feelings for him. And you just told her that you're the reason he's dead. And so it kind of opens up a wound for Jessica. And Jessica struggles to deal with it because on the one hand, this is her mom who she thought was dead. But on the other hand, her mom is a crazy, psychotic, maniac murderer with no impulse control, who's also stronger than her. But the interesting part of this is we get to see Jessica. Her thing is brute strength, but she can't beat her mom. So she has to find another way to deal with her. And a large part of this season is Jessica trying to protect her mother, really trying to protect everyone else while trying to protect her mother and do the right thing with her mother. And her allegiance shifts because there's in the beginning, she just wants her mom to be locked up. But as she spends more time with her and begins to understand her, then it goes from, well, mom, let's just you and I run away. Let's just you and I. Let's make up for lost time. And I really feel bad for Jessica, not only for the way it ended, but just because everything that happened to her, right? Just the first time she was in love, that euphoric feeling that I can't sleep without you, that I can't wait to see you. When you're gone, it's too far. And when you're with me, there's never enough time. And she's in that stage when he dies. And we see a vulnerable side to her, because when he does die, her response is like, no, like just like she's just been stabbed with 1,000 knives. And I don't think she gets over that, because there's a numbness to Jessica. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And as you and I were talking about, that's probably why she does drink to the point that she does, right? So I don't know. But anyway, as Jessica reconnects with her mom, Alyssa, there is kind of like this emotional conflict between love and fear, because I'm gonna be honest, yeah, she did fear her mom, and with good reason, so we see her ride this wave of, and it's funny because in the beginning it's kind of like disdain, and then it goes from disdain to understanding, and then from understanding to love. And we see a lot with Jessica at this. There's this point where her mom goes to jail, and one of the prison guards, I think her mom snapped on him. And so the next time when she goes to sleep, he has this device installed in which she's locked up and can't get away, and begins to shock her and electrocute her. And Jessica goes to visit her in jail, and she's like, Mom, did he do this to you? And her mom is like, it doesn't matter, or whatever. And Jessica's like, okay. And Jessica goes to his place that night. Now, I don't think she went there to kill him. I think she really went there to find out some stuff about him so she could deal with him. But he happens to be there and come upon her, and they fight. And during the struggle, he dies. And what's really cool about this is her mom calls her the next day, and her mom is like, did you take out the trash? Look, she's talking to her. She's talking to her in a way in which she's communicating, okay, did you kill him? And Jessica says, yeah. And then she's like, all right, well, did you get rid of the evidence? And she doesn't say it that way, but I thought that was really cool and very smart on both their parts to be able to do that, right? But anyway, I've been talking way too much. Give me your thoughts on what's going on in that scene here, man, as we see that.
It just didn't feel right, Jessica killing someone. Like, yeah, it just felt so out of character in terms of the way she killed him, and I always felt so hollow about that. I'm like,
it was an accident, though.
Yeah, that's it is an accident.
I mean, Cap and Wanda killed folks by accident in Civil War. They didn't mean to, but they did kill them. It was an accident.
But what else was Jessica's intentions to go there? Like, Wanda and Cap did those things to get other people safe,
right?
But it backfired.
Right.
Versus Jessica, what was Jessica's intention of going there?
She was trying to get, I don't think Jessica was on some get back. I think Jessica was trying to get information on him to use it to get him to back off her mom. And shit, I would have done the same thing. You would have done the same. If that's your mom.
I would have, yes, but
matter of fact, knowing what I know about you, you might have beat his ass in the prison. Knowing what I know about you, as much as you love your mother, I don't even think you would have gone to his house. I don't think you would have left. I'm going to tell you. Yes, I'm telling you. I don't even think you would have left the prison. You would have checked him that you did what to my mom? For those of you who don't know, Jordan's 6'2". Jordan's not a little guy like myself.
I'm
You
6'1".
Okay,
I'm
you
6'1".
because there's such a difference.
Everybody said, because for some reason I have people saying you're 6'2", and I have people saying, "Hey, you're not 6 foot," and I'm like, okay, I'm 6'1". I'm glad nobody knows what my height is.
There's such a difference between 6'1" and 6'2". Whatever. The point is, Jordan, you'd have checked him at the gate. You wouldn't even left, right?
I think that there's a huge difference in that Jessica has been around her mom now, what, not even a week maybe, and like I've been around my mom for like 25 years, like with no
That doesn't mean
gaps
she doesn't
that are
love her mom. It's
it,
her mom.
Imagine a family member that you have not seen in 15, 20 years showing up out of nowhere that at one point you cared about, and it's just like, this is a stranger,
Bro,
this is
it
may be your mom.
If my mom was resurrected and I see her 15 years later and she happens to be in prison, I'm whooping that guard's ass
Again. But you have so many years with your mom before that. Jessica was what, 10, 11, 12?
No,
How old?
She was 16.
She was 16 years old
Still
when
her
it happened.
It's still her mom.
It's still a stranger. Like 10 years have passed. That's still a stranger. Like who doesn't even know who you are. That's what I've taken out of this, is like, it had she had like died when she was like 20, 21, 22, somewhere around there, and then 5 years later she comes back, that's different. She was 16 years old. Imagine you at 16, and then when you're like 26, 30 years old, that person shows up out of nowhere. That person thinks you are someone that you're not, and you also think they're someone they're not. So, and not like there's just so much.
I could see if it was like a aunt or uncle or cousin. This is somebody's mom, man. Like, bro, I'm gonna have to agree to disagree, bro. I respect everything you're saying, but if my mama comes back 30 years from now, even if I'm 85 years old and can't walk, and somebody did something to her, I'm gonna beat the hell out of them with my cane. I'm gonna take my cane and be like, "You bastard!"
Here's a perfect example. A perfect example is the Amazing Spider-Man 2's alternate ending, where Peter's dad shows up.
Okay.
Peter's dad does not know who Peter is
right
now. And Peter's last thought of his dad was, I mean, he had all these secrets. He really doesn't even know who his dad is.
Okay.
Like so they don't really know each other. So it would be like less than a week after they meet at Gwen Stacy's grave, of him going and killing someone because his dad's in prison and was and the guard was abusive to him. Like, bro. I would just be like, like, it's one thing to go to the house again. It's one thing to go to the house and be like, don't touch her, don't do that. But you shouldn't even gone to the house in the first place. You could have done it without even going to his house. You could have done it in a more public setting. I think
she's looking for leverage there. I don't think she went to confront him. I think she's going through his stuff. I think she's looking for leverage, for something she can use to say, "Don't mess with my mom."
Oh, yeah.
And
she got caught with that.
Yeah, but what did he do? He didn't talk to her. He punched the hell out of her. So at that point, now you have to fight. And it was,
I mean,
I know we got to hold her to a higher standard.
Yeah.
I think is where you're going. And I understand that.
She could kill anybody.
Accidents
kill
do
anybody.
happen, bro. Accidents.
Yes.
He was a piece of crap, and like
He was.
you know who he reminded me of. You saw Kill Bill, right? I know you did.
Yes. Yeah.
Remember Buck? My name is Buck. That's who he reminded me of.
Yeah.
Like Gumbucket Buck. That's who he reminded me of. So, and I'm not, look, I get what you're saying. Jessica Jones doesn't kill. And it's interesting because you know what? Let's lean into that a little bit. So what's interesting is after she does kill him, the first person to talk to her is Kilgrave in her mind, and he tortures her like, oh yeah, that's the third person you killed. Da 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 da. I guess you did that. Well, did you do? And because really it's manifestation of guilt in her mind, and she's torturing herself because really she's saying, I'm no better than Kilgrave. I'm sorry. I'm no better than him is what she's saying to herself, right? So she does feel guilty. It's not like it'd be different if she killed him and was like, ho hum, he shouldn't have been in the way. But she carries Kilgrave around for about what, 2 episodes? Episode and a half, maybe?
Yeah.
I don't know. What do you think about that?
I do like see in the comics, Kilgrave, even after he dies, implements a part of himself into people that he controls, and that person will have to die in order for him to be gone. Like
Right.
he leaves a little part of himself in the people that he controls, which is just sick and twisted.
Yeah.
I thought they were going for that angle for this, but I guess not. When you go into season 3, but my thought on it was Jessica has killed people, but there's been legit reasons.
Yeah.
The first when she killed Luke's wife or girlfriend,
Reva. She was
Reva.
under Kilgrave's control.
Yeah, she couldn't control herself. So like I felt bad for her, and I felt bad for Luke. It's like, these two people love each other, and it's like I want them to work out. It's just it sucks that happened. And then she had to kill Kilgrave because he was gonna end up killing so many other people.
Yeah.
That's one of those situations. If Spider-Man was up against Kilgrave, that would be that would be where he would break his rule. Like certain instances where a superhero can break the no-kill rule. Kilgrave is honest with what he had done up to that point. I could understand any superhero breaking their no-kill rule. I could understand Daredevil doing it. I could understand Spider-Man doing it. Batman, obviously that's DC, but like anybody breaking their no-kill rule.
Well, Batman should have broke his rule a long time ago with the Joker. He should have been broken that. But yeah. Go ahead.
But like, I understood. I honestly, I had sent you last night my top 10
villains.
Kilgrave was actually 11. I seriously considered him because I'm like, he's so sick and twisted, and he thinks he's right. That's the craziest thing about it. And he thinks everything he's doing is right, and it's just he's so manipulative in so many different ways, mentally, physically, emotionally. There's just so much wrong with him. And so it made so much sense for him. Then you get into this, and this is the third person that she's killed, and it's like it was an accident, and but this feels like it could have been avoided. This feels like it really could have been avoided, and it honestly just ends up like a speed bump in the whole season. Even though she kills someone, we don't even like sit in on that enough that she killed someone. We really don't. I don't. I think this should have been something that we think about all the way through season 3. Because this is the first time that she had to kill someone who wasn't like trying to kill everybody else or wasn't being mind controlled.
Wasn't a world level threat.
Yes. Yeah. Like Kilgrave is an Avengers level threat, and Jessica Jones had to stop him.
Right.
And I understand why she did it. But yeah, no, it's just this. It felt like it could have been avoided.
It could have been, but Jessica, even though Jessica is strong, Jessica is not a prodigious fighter. She's just very strong, right? So she's not like Captain America would not do that because he's a prodigious fighter. Now you could say, oh, okay, well, that happened with Crossbones. But even with that, you're talking about an explosion. You're talking about you're talking about something that's much bigger than just fighting someone. If that's Captain America and he gets surprised, I guarantee you that guy doesn't end up dead because Cap is going to control the scene. Cap is a very prodigious fighter and a tactician. Jessica Jones is just really strong. Okay, and again, I'm not excusing it. I'm with you. They could have, especially in season 3. They probably should have dealt with that, but they didn't, and the guy was a scumbag. So whatever. Okay. Anyway, I know.
Oh, in a same, yeah.
Power comes great.
Yes.
Responsibility.
Yes.
I get it.
I was about to. Well, I was about to bring up the guy who supposedly killed Uncle Ben.
Yep.
And in the first Spider-Man movie, like that hung on Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man for all 3 films.
Right.
And even to No Way Home, he said he killed an innocent man. Like that, so he even thinks about it to this day.
Right.
And so, yeah, again, I feel like we just really it's. I don't need her to hang up on this for the rest of her life.
Right.
Like him. We need to sit in on it a little bit more than just like 1 episode, 2 episodes.
I get it, but I think the fact that it's Kilgrave beating her up, like, isn't that enough torture in and of itself? Like,
oh yeah,
Kilgrave to me he's who you tell stories about, man. He's Freddy Krueger. He's the ghost that goes boom in the night. I mean, he can do whatever he wants to you, and there's nothing you can do about it. That is terrifying. So the fact that her imagination chooses him to torture her, I think maybe that's the point they were making. I don't know. Let's talk about Trish. So Trish goes through a character transformation throughout this, and you're not a fan of it, but it's interesting when Jessica's mom meets Trish, she calls her out immediately. Oh, you're jealous. You know what I mean? Doesn't know her from a can of paint, but she calls her out immediately. No, you're jealous of her and you need to stay away. And it fuels this feud between the two. And her mom often makes the reference that, oh, I'm going to kill Trish, right? Because I think Trish is the one that gets her husband killed, right? That gets her mom's husband killed, I think.
Yeah.
Right. And so at that point, it's like, I'm going to kill her. But through this, she and Jessica kind of bond because Jessica's like, no, and come with me and let's stay together. And, there's a time where her mom could have killed her, but doesn't because of the love that she does have for Jessica. And I think that's what's sad about this entire exchange is that on their journey together, you see them kind of working out their stuff, right? Like when they save the family that ends up having an accident or whatever, and they pull them out and save them. And then they immediately have to go on the run because the family that they saved probably called the police on them. But it's really sad because we begin to see Jessica and her mom bond. And right as that bond is growing, it's just cruel. I think Marvel's treatment of her in this season was just cruel. It was just cruel. But anyway, back to Trish. Trish has an addictive personality, right? And I can say that because I have an addictive personality. Now, I've never been addicted to drugs, but I have been addicted to movies and music and sports. And I'm the kind of guy, if I go and buy shoes, I just can't buy 1 pair of shoes, Jordan. I got to buy 2 and 3 and 4 and 5. And it becomes a thing. If I go to buy movies, I just can't buy one Jordan. I got to buy 2 and 3 and 4 and 5. And so I understand people with addictions because it is a part of my personality. And so, although Trish was addicted to drugs, what she really becomes addicted to in this season is power, because she wants to be like Jessica Jones. She looks at Jessica and says, well, you're not doing anything with your powers. You could be doing so much more. And what she wants is adoration, right? She wants people to look up to her in the same way they look at Jessica Jones, because she's just a talk show host in her mind, and nobody looks at her the way that they look at Jessica Jones, right? That's what this addiction is really about. It's not even about the power, it's about the adoration. It's about, well, you're not worthy of these powers because all you do is sit around and drink, and you're not, you get what I'm saying? That's what this is about. And Trish becomes caught up in that. But the other side of that is, and again, Jordan, I'm a believer that two things can be true at one time. She really does love Jessica. She really does, and Jessica really does love her. And Jessica is in danger from her mom, because even though her mom loves her mom is a murderous psychopath who cannot control herself when her anger gets to a certain level, whether it's she's with her daughter or not, right? So Jessica is in real danger. So there are a lot of things going on here that's fueling this. And Trish becomes addicted to, what's that asthma pump spray? What was the guy's name? The Patriot? Was it the Patriot?
I don't remember.
That's his name in Marvel. But anyway, because Jessica's mom killed him.
Yeah. There's so many problems this season with characters who don't just open up their mouth to communicate. I feel like every day I'm talking to you about how people have issues communicating, because this whole season could have been solved by just simply characters sitting down and communicating the problem instead of just.
The problem with that, people have egos, Jordan.
I know. Put your ego aside and communicate like a normal person.
So how could this have been resolved with communication? Let's get to that. How could this have been resolved?
Okay. All right. Psychologist Jordan here. So how this could have been avoided would be if Trish this whole time sat down with Jessica, expressed her feelings that, like, hey, I'm gonna be honest, I am a little jealous of you. And Jessica would have probably said, you can take all my fame, I don't care. like you just know she would have said that. And look, put your ego aside. Her mother could have walked up to her and communicated with her about the whole situation.
The psychopath with no impulse control.
That's where maybe not even her. Have the doctor who was with her the whole time communicate.
That's fair, but maybe the mom doesn't want the doctor involved because she's trying to protect Jessica. Because at the end of the day, probably what the mom is saying to herself is, I can never be around Jessica. I can never do that because I can't trust myself. I can't control myself. That's what I think is going on there. And what are you going to do with that?
Instead of communicating, they're reacting. And they should, if the best thing to do in an emotionally intelligent relationship, it could be just familial, romantic, just friendship, anything. First, communicate. Communication is the key. Okay. Then I can understand afterwards. If the communication does not work, I can understand the impulse, because that's what human beings tend to do, is they act on impulse. But if you communicate first to avoid that impulse reaction, then it prevents heightened things from happening. It prevents that guy from getting killed. It prevents her boyfriend from getting killed. It prevents her mother from getting killed. It prevents all these different people from getting killed. If we just simply said, hey, this is how I feel. And you know what? This is to all the people in the world that says that's dumb, that's stupid. First of all, are you under the age of 18? Actually, no. Are you under the age of 24? Because that's called being an adult. I think that's a problem. But anyways, that's going completely sideways. But that's just in general how this is perceived. This whole season could have been prevented if people just sat down in a room and talked about how they feel. Instead, we're all acting on impulse. Like the mother of all, like, you're right. She can't control herself sometimes. I get that. Sometimes. Not all the time, though. So sometimes write a letter. Write a letter when you're not acting on impulse. Write a letter. Be like, hey, Jessica, this is your mom. This is everything that has gone on, and this is why I can't just tell you face to face, because otherwise I would act on impulse control and I'd start killing people. That's what could have happened. But instead, there's just all of these people doing rash things, and yeah, no, not a single. It's crazy to me that the most rational person in this is the alcoholic. The alcoholic, who's the main character of the show, is the most rash person.
I love it.
In this entire show.
I love it.
Because she's the one who's willing to, and that's why she's so great, is because she's so blunt about everything, because nobody else is willing to open up about anything, because she has to be blunt about it. Be like, I don't care what you think. Whatever. So what? Who cares? Move on. She's blunt about it. That's why she's a great character for this, because there's all these people surrounding her that are rash and do rash things without thinking. And she's the only one who can think. That's why she's a PI, because she can actually think things through, and she does it really well. So that's Dr. Jordan Burden. I will eventually get my doctorate at some point in psychology.
Well, thank you, Dr. Freud. I'm sorry, Dr. Burden. I'm sorry.
Burden.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. As a matter of fact, after you go ahead and give you your flowers while we're
love to accept my Grammy. I wouldn't be here without the help. I'd like to shout out Terry, shout out Kim, shout out my mom. Hi, Mom. I know you're watching from home. Yeah, I love to accept this award. It's a great feeling.
Such an honor.
Psychologist of the year. Yeah,
it's such an honor. Oh wow! So we got to talk about Jerry Hogarth.
Do we have to?
Yeah, we kind of do. She gets duped. She develops ALS, and she meets this young lady who takes advantage of her and brings in her convict or ex-convict boyfriend. And they basically con Jerry by telling her that her boyfriend can heal people, and they do this ritual or whatever, and Jerry actually thinks that she's healed. And it's interesting because she actually becomes nicer. You know, during this process, she actually becomes nicer and becomes a kinder person or whatever, until she finds out that I think Jessica goes to see the doctor, or Jessica ends up talking to the doctor who's married to her mom, and the doctor says, I don't remember the person's name that is actually the supposed. He was never in the study. And so, of course, Jerry being Jerry, when she finds out that this happened, she sets up the lady and she says, he's going to do this to you as well. As a matter of fact, he's been cheating on you, and, sets her up to go in and kill the guy. And she does, the lady who conned Jerry. And then when she does that, of course, Hogarth calls the police and, gets her set up. But the one thing that happened is Malcolm, who's the other character that you don't like, who was basically Jessica's neighbor, who was working for her, who was an addict, who Kilgrave was using in season 1, really becomes independent. He becomes sober. And he starts.
And let me make a clear statement here.
Right.
I did really like him. Like his growth as a character has been amazing. Going from addict side character to he's a main plot point in this season. But it felt like his character just turned at some point. And he became, like all the other characters in this entire season, self-centered. Everybody's self-centered in this entire show except the main character. The main character is not self-centered. She wants nothing to do with anyone. She just wants to be a PI and call it a day.
Now let's be fair, right? Jessica kept putting him off and we'll just do this and handle it. And Jessica was a jerk to him. Okay. She kept leaving him. She kept abandoning him. Like, Jessica's not the easiest person to deal with if you are working for her. She's not. I wouldn't want a boss like her. I'm just going to be honest. To your point, she's not a communicator, Jordan.
True.
You know this.
True.
She's not a communicator. And so I think he just got sick of it and was like, you know what? Bump you, Jessica. And I cannot blame him for that. Not only that, but he's trying to help Trish. He's trying to help Trish because he ends up dealing with Trish and they develop a relationship and realizes that Trish is addicted to this asthma pump. And Trish tries to get him to take it. And he's like, whoa, I'm an addict myself. I can't do that. And he and Trish have a falling out because he's like, I don't know what's going on with you that you need this, but my sobriety matters more than anything to me. So I'm going to have to cut you off. Right?
Good for him.
But I think I like Malcolm's character arc here because he develops a bit of a backbone. Like, he's always displayed loyalty and fealty to Jessica, even when she didn't deserve it, even when she was a jerk to him. And I think he does that because in season 1, she really looked out for him when he was an addict. She really did. She would, as a matter of fact, the whole thing with Kilgrave started because she was defending him. And I think he realizes that. But they kind of have a falling out in season 2. And I know Jessica was going through a lot, but I can't, bro, she did him right. How do you think she treated him? Because I think she did him bad.
And she does this to a lot. This is the fault in her character,
right?
That she doesn't want to get close to people because of the things that have gone on in her life.
Right.
Her trauma, she does not want to put other people through the trauma, so she tends to push people away even when they're trying to help her. That's what I appreciated about Trish in season 1. But going after season 1, it's like, no, that didn't happen. And I appreciate that about Malcolm a lot. I like Malcolm's character a lot. It's just, even in season 3, I'm just like, okay, whatever. This guy's okay. But season 3 gets bad. There's a couple really good episodes, but a lot of it's really bad. It's just Jessica is pushing this character Malcolm away. Okay. And I think by the end of this season, to show her growth, she should have gone to him and been like apologized to him.
That pride. There's that word again. That pride. That ego.
Yeah, again, communication key. Communication was the villain of this entire season. Not there was no, and that's another issue I have with this season. It doesn't feel like there is a villain. It doesn't feel like there's an antagonist. Like the mom is somewhat supposed to be the antagonist, but because I hate everybody so much in this season, it's like, you know what? I understand why they didn't really have a villain. There's not really a true villain in this season.
Well, I think the mom is the antagonist. I think Trish, to a certain extent, is the antagonist. I think the fear of, I think her guilt and Kilgrave manifesting uh, himself in her mind is the antagonist.
Mm-hmm.
I think there are 3 or 4 antagonists in here, but you're right. There's no overt direct.
Yeah, they're on a
antagonist.
lower, like you could
Yes.
say
Yeah.
psychologically speaking, there
Yeah.
are antagonistic qualities of certain characters or themes,
Yeah.
but overall there's not like, if we were to go back when we're done all of this and point at and rank all the villains of every season of every show and every movie, every special, I mean, I guess the mom is the antagonist, but if that is the case, she would be towards the very bottom of my ranking. Like she would be arguably the worst of all the antagonists.
That's fair. That's fair. I'm gonna pause the. All right. So last thing I want to talk about, Jordan. Let's talk about let's talk about the last episode, and let's talk about the trip that Jessica and her mom, the pilgrimage to that amusement park, where her mom makes the decision. I think they hear something on the radio that they're looking for Jessica and her mom makes the decision at that point. You know what? I'm not going to ruin my daughter's life. So they go to the amusement park, and she turns on the Ferris wheel because she just wants one more ride with her daughter, knowing the cops are going to show up and probably kill her. But she wants Jessica to have this memory. And the thing about it is, and this is what kind of got me, is she talked about she and Jessica riding the Ferris wheel before because her husband and her son were afraid of heights. And she says, you know, I made you get on that Ferris wheel because I knew deep down inside you really want to. You really wanted to. I knew deep down inside you loved it. And as a matter of fact, when we got on the Ferris wheel, halfway up, you just started smiling and you didn't stop. You couldn't control yourself and you enjoyed it. And as she tells her this is foreshadowing for this event that's going to occur now, right? Mm-hmm. And it's also interesting that the way she dies is the way that she killed Jessica's boyfriend. She made the decision at that point that he wasn't good for her, that him being around her is ultimately going to lead to Jessica's demise. And so she killed the boyfriend. Well, Trish does the same with her. And so Jessica and her mom are in the Ferris wheel cart, and they're going up, and they have a really sweet moment, and they're talking and laughing. And I think her mom says to her, I love you. And she's about to say it. And then all of a sudden we see her head explode, because who knew Trish was an expert marksman? But she shoots her in the head, and it was devastating because I had forgotten that her mom actually died. And so, you know, I'm all in. I'm all in the scene where they're like reconnecting and we're doing our mother-daughter thing. And, you know, my mama died, so I'm already sensitive to this, Jordan. And they're going through their reconnection thing. And then all of a sudden, bam! And it's like, for the first time, we see Jessica look at Trish and say, run. And she means it. She says, you need to leave. Because, you know, what she's really saying is, I don't know if I can protect you from me right now. Okay, you just killed my mother, and it's like I understand why. I don't like the fact that Trish did it, but I understand why she did it because the cops arrived like 10 minutes later, and had the cops come there, I really think Jessica probably dies trying to protect her mom. So I understand why Trish did it. In the same way, I understand why her mom did it years before. But in both cases, I don't like it. But I really didn't like Trish doing that because I felt like Jessica was cheated out of a moment when she finally says, "Okay, mom, I love." Just give her a moment. Just that timing was terrible. Give me your thoughts on that last scene.
Communication. Why can't we just talk? But nope, we have to make sudden decisions. Nope. Trish was selfish. Trish was so selfish in that moment. And I'm like, you are so selfish and so self-centered. I hate your character so much. Your character does deserve to die by the end of this series. I hate you
so much right now.
Like, she is so self-centered. I don't think I've seen a more self-centered character in the MCU. Like that, and that's crazy of a statement considering all the self-centered superheroes and villains we have that are like big time superheroes and villains.
I mean, I just think that just the way they did that, and I understood why they did it, but that one got me, man, because it's like she's like, "Mom, and bam," and we see blood. Like, I mean, she didn't shoot her in the chest. That was a headshot. And so now that's something else that Jessica has to take with her. And her last memory of her mom is her mom's head explode. I felt so bad for Jessica. Oh, I felt bad for. I really did. I felt bad. Again, I understood why Trish did it, but I don't think that relationship will ever be the same. I'm just gonna be. I do not think. You know what I mean? I don't think that relationship will be the same. Yeah. So it was sad. Ultimately, Jordan, if I had to rank this, I'm gonna say. I went back and forth. I think emotionally, season 2 was a lot better. I understood Jessica a lot more from a story perspective. From just if you isolate it from Marvel, from a story perspective, I liked it more. But if you're trying to connect it to, you watch this and you forget this is about a superhero. Because I think they got so involved in the story and making it a good story that they kind of laxed or they kind of forgot that Jessica Jones is still a superhero.
Yes.
And people are watching this because they like superheroes and we need more of that, and we didn't get that. So for me, I gave this a 6.5.
6.5. All right.
Now, where I put that, because I don't want to lie to you. Give me a sec. Jordan, we've done so many movies. I can't see that list anymore. Like the letters are so small. I can't even.
Yeah.
I have to enlarge it.
So you have Iron Man 3, Fantastic Four, Rise of the Silver Surfer, Thor: The Dark World, Spider-Man 3, Iron Fist Season 1, and Daredevil, the movie, all at 6.5 out of 10.
Which is higher?
I went in order. So the Iron Man 3 is the highest, then Fantastic Four: Rise of the Silver Surfer, then Thor: The Dark World.
All right, so right above Thor, the Dark World.
Above Thor: The Dark World.
Yeah, right above Thor: The Dark World. Yeah.
Above Dark World. All right. Well, for me, you hit it right on the head. The fact that this is a superhero show and they don't really hit on the superhero parts of it is really annoying. And while it's written well, and that's why it's gonna have a positive review for me, because I think for some people are going to enjoy this.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't think very many people are going to enjoy this.
Yeah.
So I give it a 6 out of 10. I only had 2 episodes that were negative reviews. The rest floated around that 5 out of 10. I was like, for me, a 5 out of 10 is like 50% of people are probably gonna like it, 50% won't. And it was kind of floating around that. There was only 2 episodes I had that were higher than a 7, and both were 8 out of 10. So it was episode 7 and 11. But otherwise, I gave it a 6 out of 10. I have this actually just above Iron Fist season 1. I think both have the same issues. I think I was more involved in the story. I think more with Iron Fist, but I think it was written so much better for Jessica Jones season 2. So I have Jessica Jones season 2 just ahead of Iron Fist. Plus, even though I hate all the side characters in both shows, at least Jessica Jones I like. Versus Danny Rand, I can't stand him in season 1. So yeah, I have Jessica Jones season 2 just ahead of Iron Fist season 1.
All right. Well, hey, we got to come back and do this again tomorrow. It's Luke Cage season 2, right?
Yes.
Well, my friend, I will see you tomorrow. I'm looking forward to it. I think that's another one. There's going to be discrepancy between mine and yours because I really like season 2. I didn't like the way it ended, but I think there's one benefit to doing this with you.
I like how it ended. That's weird.
I did. Well, no, I didn't like it. I understood it. I understood it. Don't get me wrong. I did understand it. I didn't like the way it ended. But the one benefit to doing this is when I'm watching these shows more, I'm more focused on the story. I really am. And looking at season 2 from a story perspective, I liked a lot of what was going on. I understood a lot of what was going on. And while, you know what, I'll save it for tomorrow. Anyway, my friend, thank you to everybody who's going to watch this and see this. We thank you. We appreciate you. We love you. And yeah, we'll be back tomorrow, man. Enjoy your night and we'll see you tomorrow. Peace. This movie was about
Lights, camera, action is going down. For my ATL movies, when we run this town with your host T-Wil, yeah, keeping it real. From the A to the screen, you can feel the thrill. Rolling with the classics, we're setting the pace. Highlighting the magic of our soulful space. Got the vibe, got the crew, making it tight. When the screen lights up, everything feels right. Grab your popcorn, let's make it loud. T-Wil, T-Wil. It's movie time, ATL style. Stand proud. From the silver screen to the hearts we steal. T-Wil, T-Wil. Every frame we capture is a real deal. Yeah. Talking premieres where the stars align. ATL views, yeah, they really shine behind the lens.